Welcome to Live the Light, a show about personal growth through spirituality. And I'm your host, psychic, medium, and intuitive artist, Nicole Bowman. I want to thank you guys so much for sharing your light with me and for listening to Live the Light. Wherever you are listening, whether it be Blog Talk Radio, SoundCloud, Apple Podcast, or YouTube, I greatly appreciate your support and I greatly appreciate you being here. If you are brand new to the channel, please take a moment to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you'll know when I'm doing videos next and when I'm doing podcasts next if you're listening on YouTube. And if you're on Blog Talk Radio, please take a moment to follow the show, because when you follow the show, it actually makes the show more visible. It gets it out to more people. And also, please, if you feel so led, share this on your social media because that allows the channel to grow and build and evolve. So today what we're going to talk about is something that has been on my heart to talk about for a while. And that is being a spiritual worker and being a spiritual person and walking your spiritual path in wake of the coronavirus. So we're going to be talking through the lens of a practitioner, the work that I'm doing. We'll also be talking through the lens of people who will be listening, who are walking a spiritual path on a conscious level, and how to walk that and how to navigate that during a very, very difficult and trying time. So I just want to begin by just setting a prayer and intention as I surround us with the light of the Holy Spirit. And my prayer and affirmation is that we all be guided and protected throughout this broadcast and after. And my prayer is also that the information I give to you is clear and accurate, easy for you to understand, coming directly from Divine Spirit. And it's so. So if you are just tuning in, this is Live the Light, a show about personal growth through spirituality. And I'm your host, psychic, medium, and intuitive artist, Nicole Bowman. And tonight's show is Love and Light in the Wake of the Coronavirus. Really how to maintain your spirituality, maintain your center, determine what your role is during this pandemic, and how to be able to live your best life and help others. I want to begin by just talking about all of us in general, not right away through the lens of the spiritual worker, but just through the lens of the individual, whatever walk you may have in life. We're really moving into what feels like a new normal, where we're spending more time at home, where we need to be more cautious, more aware, more alert. And even though this can be incredibly tedious, it can be incredibly stressful, it really is for our best and highest good. One of the biggest things that Spirit has continued to push, and they continue to echo the sentiments of medical professionals, is that if you don't have to be out, if you don't have to go out to work, if you don't have to deal with the public on a regular basis, really try to stay at home. That's going to be most beneficial, not only in stopping the spread of this virus, but that's going to be most beneficial for you as well, where you sit down and you're able to regroup, you're able to focus on your mental health, and you're actually able to dream and plan what you want your life to look like after this process. Because even though right now we are in the thick of it to a degree, we're in the thick of it in a lot of places, it is going to get more intense in the United States. I definitely feel that. So we are going to see some more of what Europe has experienced. But as we're moving into that, if you have the ability to stay home, now is the time to actually look at your dreams, look at your goals, look at your relationships, and begin to evaluate what you want to take from these experiences moving forward. Now is the time to evaluate if the job you've been in is really the job that you want or the job that you need. Now is the time to evaluate schools and universities and different things that we might be doing and whether or not that is the best path for us moving forward. So this is a wonderful opportunity to take the reset button to life and to sort of reprogram, reset, regroup, and really ask yourself, am I living my best life now? If I'm looking at my life as it is now up until this coronavirus had started, can I honestly say I'm living the life that I want to live? Can I honestly say I'm having the relationships and experiences that I want to have? And if the answer is no, now is the time, because we have so much time alone, to gently peel away those layers of things that are not working. So really use this time to think about that. Use this time as an opportunity to edit. On a very practical level, if you're stuck at home, now is the time to clean your house. Now is the time to purge. Now is the time to look at things that you no longer need, you no longer want, they're no longer useful for you, and to throw them away or to donate them or to give them away if you're able to clean and disinfect them and it's safe to do so. And the reason that I say this is because this is about letting go of baggage. This is about letting go of the past, and this is about stepping firmly into the present so that we can shape our future. So really, really think about editing. This is true across the board for everyone. And this is giving us also a wonderful time to look at our exercise and fitness regimes, look at our diet and what we're eating, change a diet, change the food we're eating if we find it doesn't agree with us, if we're able to do so. So all of these things are an opportunity really to start over. And what Spirit has told me about coronavirus, not just in the United States of America, but the world at large, specifically, they were saying the year of 2020 was going to be this huge year of spiritual growth. But what they're trying to convey is that what this virus and the situation does as well is it shines a light on what is not working in our lives. It shines a light on what is broken. It shines a light on what need to be fixed. And what it also does, in a weird sort of way, Spirit says this, is it sanitizes and clears out the things that we don't need. That could be in the form of thoughts. That could be in the form of toxic emotions. That could be in the point of hoarding and accumulating and realizing, whoa, I don't need as much as I thought I did, and I need to share and I need to give. So this is allowing all of us an opportunity to step up. It's allowing all of us opportunity to help others and determine where and how we want to be most impactful. So use this time to really think about that. Use this time, I say. I would also say if we're looking at our relationships and we are finding that relationships are falling apart or being stressed, no secret that that would happen in times of stress or strain. Oftentimes, times of stress or strain illuminate what has not been working, and it gives us an opportunity to fix it, to repair it, to reevaluate it, right? So the first thing that Spirit is guiding and suggesting is they're not necessarily saying that certain relationships should just need to be thrown out the door, but maybe they need to be reevaluated. Maybe it's a relationship that's imbalanced, or not imbalanced, rather. Maybe it's a relationship where one partner is constantly doing the giving and the other one is doing the taking. And now we're in a situation where we both need to give because we need to support each other. Maybe, it's a friendship where one person is always giving the advice and the other person is always taking it, but it's not equal footing. And now the person who usually gives the advice needs the advice. So what you will also find during this time is you will find people, experiences, and situations shifting roles, where sometimes a person who was in a leadership position may have to fall back and follow, where somebody who was used to following might have to step up and lead. And all of this is for spiritual growth. All of this is teaching us what we are made of, allowing us to understand that we are stronger, wiser, braver, and more intuitive than what we think we are. Now, I want to move into the prediction section of this podcast now, because I want to share with you just what Spirit has been saying, and some of the predictions have already come true. Some of them have yet to pass, but they're coming up. But one of the things that Spirit was saying in a previous broadcast is that the government, specifically in the United States now, so right now I'm talking specifically in the United States, the government, specifically in the United States, might try to reopen the country, reopen stores, reopen prematurely. And they gave me a sense and impression that would probably happen somewhere closer to the late spring, early summer. And on some levels, you would see more people recovering from the virus, so that would be reported on. And some levels, you would see the numbers of cases going up, but that's because the testing was going up, right? So to a certain degree, there would be people recovering. There would be more tests happening. So all of that would be a very, very positive thing. But what Spirit said is, in spite of that, that doesn't mean on any level that the virus has stopped. That doesn't mean on any level that people aren't still getting infected. And that doesn't mean on any level that we shouldn't keep taking the precautions of social distancing and not eating in restaurants. And if you must, do takeout or something of that nature. But even with that, you want to be very, very cautious about what you do and where you do it, right? So what Spirit is basically saying is that we really need to be on alert from now until the end of this year. And they keep stressing that and they keep saying that. And I had an opportunity to listen to Dr. Fauci, who is really heading the medical group, the medical portion of this with the Trump administration. And he's been talking about this virus. And even he has said they probably will not have a vaccine until coming into 2021 potentially. So he himself has said that this most likely is going to carry on throughout this year. And Spirit said that previously before him making that announcement. So I say all this to say, and this is the way that Spirit is showing it to me, they're not necessarily saying that we're going to be sequestered in our homes from now until the end of this year. But what they are saying is, even though as we get into the late spring and potentially summer months, there may be some level of a soft opening, different places where different things might open up. There might be a little bit more freedom here and there. Spirit is really saying to stay at home. If you are a traveler, if you're a world traveler like myself, what you really need to do is, by now really, you have to pick a location, hunker down and stay there, at least for 2 to 3 months. I would say at least through the summer, plan to be in one spot. Then in the fall, you can look back and you can reevaluate, but at least for the summer, plan to be in one spot. And Spirit is giving me a really, really strong sense that this month of April coming up is a very, very crucial time. So this is really the time to hunker down and stay in place and just be there. Like, if you're not already there, just be there and stay there for at least the next few months. Spirit does stress, and they do say it's incredibly important. You know, you want to continue to practice the social distancing, everything that they're saying about washing your hands and wearing gloves and wearing a mask if you need to. Really follow that to the letter of the law. You know, disinfect everything before you bring it into your home. Take off your clothes, wash them or hang them in sunlight outside, spray them with disinfectant. That's what I do. Take your shoes off at the front door. All of these things are necessary and essential to keep us safe and to keep our families safe. And I would also say, pray over your food, pray over your drink, pray over your vitamins and supplements, your medications, anything that you're taking. Pray that you get the essential nutrients that are present in that food, in that medication, and whatever you're taking to give you a state of optimal health. And try your best to see yourself as healthy and happy and whole. Try to visualize that if you're good at visualization, seeing yourself healthy and in great shape. If visualization is not your thing, say it out loud to yourself. Or, you can put it on a tape recorder and listen to it. Put it on a computer and listen to it being recorded. Because you need to speak life into yourself. You need to see yourself as healthy and whole. Because if you cannot see it and you cannot feel it and you cannot sense it, sometimes it is very hard to achieve it and maintain it. What I also receive from Spirit is that we have to be very mindful of the news that we consume. They do show that it is very important to watch the news, and it's very important to get it from a variety of sources. I personally watch American news, but I also watch European news. And the reason I watch European news channels is because I find that oftentimes when they're reporting, they tend to be a little less sensational than the American stations, and they also tend to be more focused on the actual facts, right? But that's not that I don't watch American news. I do, because one of the things that I have learned, and one of the things that Spirit stresses, is during this time where news is important and crucial because you need to be kept up to date, you need as many credible sources as possible so that you can be able to streamline that information and take what's most pertinent and apply it to your life. So, I mean, sure, you can do CNN, MSNBC, you can even listen to Fox. And I know a lot of people have issues with Fox News, but the reason why it's important to listen to a variety of sources is because it will give you a more balanced view of what's going on in the country. It will also give you a more balanced sense of people's sentiments and energy in different parts of the country, so you know what to prepare for and you know what to look out for. But if you're going to listen to European or foreign news, I definitely recommend Al Jazeera, and I definitely recommend France 24 English. I especially recommend France 24 because they tend to be very, very balanced in a lot of ways, and they share news from all over the world. So they were reporting on this coronavirus long before it came to the United States news. They were reporting on it then. They were reporting on it in China then, right? So France 24 English is a very, very good one. So Spirit just says to be aware. They say to continue to take precautions. They do say when it goes to groceries and shopping and things like that, they definitely make me feel the less you can go to the stores, the better. If you can, if you can go every 2 weeks, wonderful. If you can go once a week, great. Sometimes that's not feasible depending on what we have going on financially, but they do say if you are going to be in those spaces, make sure that you have gloves. I mean, Spirit keeps giving me the sense that people need to wear masks. So I'm just going to say that. Because I keep getting that from Spirit, that in certain places you just need to wear masks. And what they're saying is when you bring things into your home, wipe down everything, clean and disinfect it, with whatever disinfectant that you have before you put it in the refrigerator. If you have plastic bags and different things, throw them away or leave them outside, spray them down with disinfectant, but you want to make sure that you're not tracking more of that into your home. So keep that in mind. One of the things that I want to speak about, and I want to speak about this before we close. Right now, wherever you are, let's take a moment to focus on the souls that have passed on. Those people who have succumbed to issues surrounding the coronavirus and they have passed on. I want you to take a moment, however you're able to, whether you can visualize it, whether you can feel it on an emotional level, whether you can just say it out loud. And I want you to picture a light in front of you. And I want you to see rows of people in line floating up into that light. They're just floating up into that light. And if you can visualize it, visualize it. And if you can't visualize it, after this broadcast is over, just listen to it and say it out loud and affirm that this is happening and affirm it is so. The reason I'm saying this is because what we're doing right now is helping these souls have safe passage into the spirit world. So I'm seeing people dressed in white that have left their physical bodies and they're floating up into the sky. And there is this huge light. It's bright. It's a bright white light. And it's almost blinding. And they're going freely and effortlessly into that light. And they are at peace. And even if you're not great at visualization, just as I'm saying this, affirm in your heart that that is happening for these people. Because what we need to see right now is, instead of seeing people perishing, we need to see them evolving. Instead of people suffering, we need to see them being made one with the Creator again. Because those souls can feel that, who've crossed over, and their families can feel that. And what they need right now is they need our strength, they need our hope, they need our uplift, they need our determination to step into the light, to connect with the divine, and be one with your Creator again. And so I'm just going to hold that image. We're just going to hold it for a second. And if you're not great at visualization, we're just going to hold the intention for a second, and you hold it in your heart. And we see the last two souls cross over. And they've been absorbed into the light. And there we see the angels, the archangels. We see Archangel Michael standing. We see Archangel Raphael welcoming them. We see Archangel Uriel and Gabriel welcoming them. And the last soul has gone into the light. And then that light disappears. And those souls have crossed over. And it's so. This is something that is good to do when you hear about the death tolls. because you want souls on this plane to have a safe passage into the spirit world. Ask God to surround you and protect you when you do this, and just ask that their souls evolve and they go to the light. And if you're wonderful at visualization and you can see that, do so. And if you're not, affirm it in your heart. And it will be so. Now, on to those who are dealing with the virus or dealing with loved ones who have the virus, who are currently fighting for their lives. We know this is a dire situation. We know these are dire circumstances. So we are on no level being naive or in the dark about this, or, oh, it's just love and light, happiness. No, no, no. Love and light is not about delusion. Love and light is about seeing what is, shining light on the truth, and being a steward of that light and that love to uplift humanity and yourself. But that doesn't mean that everything is perfect, and that doesn't mean that everything is easy. So I want to be clear about that when I say love and light and what that means. But back to the people who may be struggling with the virus now, back to the healthcare workers, the fast food workers, the grocery store clerks, everyone who's on the front line of this, the Uber drivers, the taxi drivers, the people who are delivering your food to your house. If you're good at visualization, I want you to just pick a person. It could be the cashier at the grocery store that you know. It could be an Uber driver you happen to know. It could be a police officer. It could be a nurse or a doctor that you know. And I want you to just take a moment and visualize that person. And I want you to imagine a pink light around them. And I want you to affirm that this pink light is the light of divine protection. And then over that pink light, silver sparkles all around them. The silver light is a shield of protection and health and strength. And I want you to see this person, instead of them crying or scared or angry, I want you to see them smiling. I want you to visualize them in optimal health, the best shape of their life. And as you visualize this, you affirm that they're okay, and they're going to be okay, and they're going to move through this. And you ask God to bless them and protect them and do things that are for their best and highest good. And if you are not great at visualization, if you can't see the person in your mind's eye, just think of the person and affirm that it is so. Because this is how you confer protection on other people. Okay? This is how, instead of worrying about people and we end up praying for their downfall, we instead pray for their liberation. This is how you pray for people in the affirmative, and how you put protection around them in the affirmative. We don't pray and make assumptions on what somebody needs. We ask God to give them what is for their best and highest good, and we see them as healthy and happy and whole. And if that is the divine decree and that is the direction they're in, that will be felt, they will receive it, and they will be blessed by it. So get in the habit, instead of seeing people as perishing, see them as thriving. Instead of seeing them as dying, see them as living. Instead of seeing them as in grave danger, and I'm not saying there isn't danger, there absolutely is. But you want to try and uplift them, because when you send that energy of love and confidence to a person, especially people who are sensitive to energy, they can feel it. But when you send worry and famine and fear and negativity, they can also feel that. And depending upon what's going on, they can let that energy in. So we always want to send the good stuff. So that is the role, not just of the spiritual worker, but anyone who has consciously made the decision to walk the spiritual path. That is our role. And I will say this too. Some days you reach out and help others, and some days the one you help and the one you save is yourself. So you also have to know, because there's going to be times where you need to take breaks. You need to step back. You need to focus on you. You need to just focus on your family. You just need to have a day that is a mental health day for you. You can't reach out to others in that moment. That's perfectly all right. But if you are consciously walking a spiritual path, you will be led when to reach out and when to assist and when to fall back and just focus on you. And I would say first and foremost, though, from anything, do focus on yourself first. Focus on your prayers, your mental health, your spiritual practice, your fitness, your exercise. Get those things in, and then let the world catch your overflow. Because the last thing that you want is to be trying to help anyone and everyone and then be so depleted yourself. And I know this is a tough time. Many of us are just going through what I just described. All you can do is try your best. And this is a time now so more than ever where the mind, body, spirit connection is huge. We reach up, we talk to the divine, but we also take care of our physical bodies. We take care of our mental health. We listen to science. We listen to medicine. We behave in a way that is logical and clear and succinct so that we may survive and we may help others survive. This is light work, but this is also intuitive gifts and psychic abilities. Because people often think that intuitive gifts, psychic abilities, and light work is something airy-fairy out in the ether. No. Psychics, mediums, and healers who are worth their salt reach towards heaven, but we are grounded in reality. We reach towards heaven, but the predictions we share from spirit come true because they are based in actual reality and evidence. So this is a time of evidence-based information. This is a time, obviously, of trusting your gut instincts, but it's not a time of burying our head in the sand or going overboard with these conspiracy theories. Deal with what is in front of you. See it for what it is. Prepare yourself, take care of yourself, then begin to pray in the affirmative, then begin to reach out. That's how you survive. Okay? So now is not the time for denial. Now is not the time for conspiracy theories. Now is not the time for any of that. It is the time of praying. It's a time of writing things down. It's a time of planning. It's the time of taking care of ourselves. But it is also the time of dealing with reality and seeing what is. And in doing that, you grow stronger. You grow more intuitive. You go more in tune with your environment around you, but also with the divine, because the divine will tell you what is coming. Be safe, be vigilant, take care of yourself. If you do not have to work in the public sector, don't work. Stay at home, work from home. If you can work from home, if you have the capability to do so, work from home. If you have the capability to stay at home as much as possible, stay at home. I know that for some of us, it's just not feasible. It's not possible. So for those who are venturing out, I call on the divine to put a pink light of protection around you and that silver light of protection and strength around you. I pray that your hands be blessed and that you help other people. I pray that you remain safe and clean and aware and self-alert. And I pray that even in your darkest moments, you know that it will get better, it will get lighter, and that God has you. And so that's my prayer and affirmation for us. You can catch Live the Light the first of every month on Blog Talk Radio, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, and a variety of channels. I'm putting all the links in the bottom of the description. I will be coming back with another show, obviously, in a month. And do check back on my YouTube channel, because there are times where I will do podcasts and videos that I put on my YouTube channel that I don't always put on Blog Talk Radio, depending upon the content. If you would like to get a reading with me, I am always available for readings, normally Monday through Friday in the evenings, Eastern Standard Time, at NicoleBowman.biz. That link is in the description as well. And always remember to live your light, live your bliss, love yourself. Take care.